So in the last day we have seen the operation of separable transformation and what is the advantage of separable transformation. That we have seen that if we do the separable transformation, the complexity of the operation is reducing. So now we will check some basic transformations over which the separable transformations have been used, and we will check how the transformations are operating over an image. So today, first transformation that already you did in BTech in 6th semester, that is called the discrete Fourier transform, and you did it in one-dimensional domain, but here we will check in 2D domain. So today's topic is discrete Fourier transform, or in short form DFT. So basically the transformation relationship that we have got is V equal to AU, or V K equal to n equal to 0 to n minus 1 A K n even. That is the transformation matrix for 1D domain that we have got. Now already I have told you that depending on the operation or depending on the technique, what should be the transformation matrix A, that will be our choice. So for discrete Fourier transform, all of you know that that transformation matrix is defined as exponential minus j 2 pi by capital N Kn. If you can recapture the part from digital signal processing, you can understand that in discrete Fourier transform, that is one term used in DFT equation. So that is called your transformation matrix, and that transformation matrix is used to calculate the DFT. Now that expression is also defined as the Twiddle factor format, that is W of n to the power Kn, where W is defined as exponential minus j 2 pi by n, where Wn is defined by exponential minus j 2 pi by n. So if we write that expression by considering that, your expression becomes n equal to 0 to n minus 1 un wn of kn. So that is the expression of discrete Fourier transform in one-dimensional domain that you already know. Okay, so from that expression, whenever you have calculated the value of un, that you have got as 1 by n summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1, sorry, that will be k equal to 0 to n minus 1 vk wn of minus of kn. Okay, these are the two expressions that we have got. And why we are getting minus of kn? Because we are doing the a star or simply a complement of kn that we are taking. So if we calculate a complement of kn, we will get minus of kn. So that's why we are taking minus of kn, and 1 by n is the extra term that comes when you calculate the un. Okay, so these are the two expressions to calculate v, k and un. Now matter is that whenever you have used that expression, you have not considered the property that I have already mentioned you. The property is that the the matrices that you have used must be unitary matrix format. Means AKN must be unitary matrix. For discrete Fourier transform operation, and if we define AKN, that also you have got that if we define AKN in a matrix format, what is the matrix coefficient or what are the matrix element we have got? Matrix element are Wn. Considering to the Wn matrix element, you have got the matrices. Now now it is proved that if we try to calculate whether this matrix we are getting from the discrete Fourier transform expression, whether unitary or not, then we have seen that it is not unitary. So to make that matrix unitary, what we need to do, if we multiply that by 1 by root n, that extra term 1 by root n, then AKN becomes the unitary matrix. It is not showing here how it is how you are getting like that. It is proved that 1 by root, if we multiply 1 by root n to that matrix format, you will get unitary matrix. If you have any example, if you solve the problem, then just try to solve it by multiplying 1 by root n that matrix and try to solve it whether it is unitary or not. Then you can get that format is unitary. Okay, so what you need to do to make that expression unitary, you need to apply 1 by n root n here. You have to apply 1 by root n here. So that matrix expression or that expression will define the expression for unitary discrete Fourier transform expression in one dimensional domain. Okay, so V, k that will get by this expression. In the same time, from here, if you calculate un, you will get the expression like that. So you don't need to consider 1 by n here. You don't need to consider 1 here. So in both cases, you need to consider 1 by root n. So meaning is that whenever you will do the discrete Fourier transform, obviously you will consider the FFT, because FFT is the first Fourier transform where the separable transformation is used. That already I have told you in the last class, that FFT are using the separable transformation process. So this is the fastest process to calculate the DFT. So in FFT, what is happening? Simply, bol. না 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 আমার এম হচ্ছে সিম্পলি, আমার এম হচ্ছে যে ইউ ইকুয়াল টু এ স্টার ট্রান্সপোজ ভি, দ্যাট ফরম্যাট। আর আমি যদি এটাকে ম্যাট্রিক ইকুয়েশন ফরম্যাটে লিখি, তাহলে সামেশন অফ দ্যাট ফরম্যাট, ঠিক আছে? তাই তো ম্যাটার হচ্ছে যে সিম্পলি the expression WNKN that we are using, that matrix must be unitary. Okay, now আমি যখন first initially we have not considered 1 by root n, that means here WNKN was not unitary. Okay, so as WNKN was not unitary, from here if we calculate un, we are getting an extra term 1 by n. Okay, but whenever I am making WNKN unitary by multiplying 1 by root n, okay, then from here if you calculate un, you will not get 1 by n, you will get 1 by root n. If you calculate it from vk to un, you will not get here 1 by n, you will get 1 by root n. That is why I am writing here 1 by root n. Okay, 1 by n, that I am not putting 1 by n, we are getting from that expression. But in that case, we will get 1 by root n from that expression. Okay. So in FFT, what is happening? We are representing by a structure called the butterfly diagram. Exactly. Okay, so I think everyone got it. So now what I am talking about, that I am using the fast Fourier transform. So advantage is what is happening here. For FFT, you are representing a structure formed by butterfly diagram. আজকে ওদেরই করে বোঝাচ্ছে। I don't know why. Okay, যাই হোক, বাকিরা বাকিরা ঠিকঠাক শুনতে পাচ্ছিস? ওকে, টাইম ডিলে হয়ে যাচ্ছে। আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে, যাই হোক বুঝতে পারলেই হলো। Anyway, what I am trying to say that in FFT we are representing the butterfly diagram as a structure to define or to calculate the discrete Fourier transform. Now in that structure, if you have both expression in the same format, so you don't need to change the structure. You don't need to change the structure information as well to calculate V and also to calculate from V to U. That is inverse DFT also you can calculate using same structure if we can keep the both expression is in the same format. Okay, so if we consider unitary transformation, you can see that we can easily consider FFT, so we can easily calculate the expression in a faster way. Okay, now this was the expression for 1D transformation. Now if we consider the 2D transformation, simply that 1D expression will be represented by 2D expression as that 1D expression will be represented by 2D expression as VKL, that will be represented summation m equal to 0 to n minus 1, n equal to 0 to n minus 1, u m n w n to the power k m plus l n. And to normalize that w expression, normalize means to make it unitary. For this case you have to multiply by 1 by n. So keep in mind, DFT expression, whenever we are considering one dimensional DFT, we need to normalize by 1 by root n to make it unitary matrix format, and for 2D DFT we need to normalize by 1 by n to make it unitary transformation format. Okay, and from here u m n, if you calculate, that is also be 1 by n, double summation m equal to 0 to n minus 1 and n equal to 0 to n minus 1, sorry, it's KL not mn, k equal to 0 to n minus 1 and l equal to 0 to n minus 1, v k l w n of, that will be minus, so minus km minus ln. So these are the two expressions to calculate the DFT of a sequence or of an image. Now the size of that matrix is what? The size of that matrix will be n cross n. The size of that matrix will be n cross n. That means n square number of computation will happen over that matrix. Okay. For the UMN also, n square number of computation will happen over the transformation matrix. Now, simply if we separate these two, if we separate W Km plus Ln into two parts, and just if we rewrite the expression in a different way, then you can understand how that operation is happening. What I am telling you, simply I will separating Wkm Ln in the format Wkm into Wln. Then you can see what is happening, or how that operation is actually happening over the image. Okay, why we should DFT, then it will be more clear to all of you. That expression VKL I am writing in that format, VKL, that is equal to 1 by n summation of m equal to 0 to n minus 1, and we are splitting that part Wn of Km plus Ln. We are splitting Wn of Km into Wn of Ln in two parts, and you can see that Wn of Km, that expression is not dependent on that summation. N equal to 0 to n minus 1, in that summation Wn of Km is not dependent, so I am writing first that expression and then summation of n equal to 0 to n minus 1. Means I am simply keeping out that expression from that summation. So what we can write? Simply Wn to the power Km, then summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1 u of mn Wn to the power Ln. Okay, now consider that expression. Simply consider that expression. What do you mean by that expression? Can anyone tell me? What do you mean by the expression written in the box? V of L. So V of L, that is equal to summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1 u mn Wn Ln. V of L. But here you have 2D image, not the 1D expression. In case of 1D expression, your equation was Vk equal to summation n equal to 0 to n minus 1 u n w n of k m equal to, okay, you can write in the format of n also, un k n. That was the expression for your 1D. And does both the expression same? Both the expression are not same. Here un that you have used is a 1D, but here umn you are using is 2D. Then what will be the expression? VL or something else? Okay, see, whenever you are trying to calculate the frequency domain expression from the spatial domain expression, n is in the spatial domain, k is in the frequency domain. So from n to k you are getting by simply n equal to 0 to n minus 1 you are representing, and from n you are getting that k. Here you are varying n from 0 to n minus 1, from that n you are getting that L. So spatial domain n representing frequency domain L here, that is okay. But there is one term m that is not variable. In that expression you can see m is constant. Whatever the value of m at a single time, that value of m is constant. If we consider m equal to 1, that means 1 is constant here. Only you are changing the value of n. So as it is constant, it will remain as it is. As it is constant, the value of m will remain as it is. Means what? In that expression, when you are considering m equal to 0, that box operation is happening like that. For m equal to 0, you are considering n like that, and that is varying from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, means what? M defines the number of rows, L defines the number of columns. So for a specific value of m, the over the n the operation is happening. For a specific value of m, try to understand it very clearly. For a specific value of m, over the n the operation is happening. Means for a specific row, we are considering at a time a single row, and over that row in every column value the operation is happening. Means we are not considering every rows at a single time. We are considering a single row, and every operation over the every column values of that row is happening. Is that clear or not? Okay, so that is happening here. So for a single value of m, you are getting the operation over the column. Then next value of m, next operation over the column. In that way, for every value of m you are getting operation over the column, and finally you are getting VKL. That means VKL equal to 1 by n summation m equal to 0 to n minus 1 Wn of Km into VML, that you are getting. Means simply by picture, if you try to understand that is defined by n, and that is defined by m defined as number of rows, and n defines by the number of columns. So for a single value of m, if we consider the first step or the first expression for a single value of m, what you are getting, suppose size of the image is n cross n. For single value of m, for this value of m, all the n operation all the n values. So what you are getting, all the spatial domain n is converting into frequency domain of L, keeping m in spatial domain. Okay, so that is operating, that is happening first. Then what is happening, whenever we are considering the value of m from 0 to n minus 1, means total values of m, then that m is converted to k, means then the spatial domain m is converted to frequency domain k. Okay, that means first one row is converted, then step by step, for m equal to 0 one row converted, for m equal to 1 one row converted. In that way, step by step, all the rows are converted to frequency domain. Okay, so what is the computational complexity then? For one number of row, n number of computation is happening. For m equal to 0, suppose total n number of n, capital N number of small n you have. So for m equal to 0, capital N number of computation is happening. You have total n number of n number of m values. So how many computation will happen here? N square number of computation. So initially I have told you that in the expression you have n square number of computation in spite of n to the power 4 number of computation. So why it is n square? It is clear na? Why you are getting n square number of computation? অবভিয়াসলি করা যেতে পারে, কেন পারে না? আমি যেখানে সিঙ্গেল রো কনসিডার করে কলামগুলোকে আমি ক্যালকুলেট করছি, সেখানে ইউ ওয়ান্ট টু মেক কলাম ফিক্স অ্যান্ড ফার্স্ট ইউ আর চেঞ্জিং দ্য ভ্যালু অফ রো। ইউ ক্যান ডু ইট অলসো। না 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 না, কোনো বাধ্যবাধকতা নেই, you will get the same result. So that is the DFT expression happening over an image. So if we represent one image in the format of DFT, result of discrete Fourier transform, you can see that image you are getting in the box format. All the image will be converted in the box format with different intensity level. Box format or different intensity level means simply one row is operating for each and every values of n, and depending on that n, whatever the intensity of the transformed image of that intensity of that transformed image, that is represented by for every value of n. For m equal to 0, n equal to 0, whatever the value you are getting, the intensity will be represented here. For n equal to 1, that intensity will be represented here. In that way, all the intensity will be represented from 0 to n minus 1 for small n value. Again, you will consider m equal to 1, the same thing will happen. So whenever you will see the DFT operation, you can get the result as a box format of different intensity level. Okay. Now circular convolution. Circular convolution of a 1D sequence, that already you know that if you have two sequence, then circular convolution of these two sequence is defined as in that format. Circular convolution of a 1D sequence is defined as a yn by that format, that you know. So from here, if you want to represent the circular convolution in 2D expression, that expression, mathematical expression, will be like that. Suppose u1 mn of size n cross n. u1 mn is an image of size n cross n, and h m n another image of size m cross m, if you have, where it is the smallest size, or it is the smaller compared to the u1. It is the smaller size compared to the u1. Okay, you have to do the circular convolution between u1 mn and hmn. Then the mathematical expression you will get u2 mn as m dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, n dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, h m minus m dash n minus n dash, that will be the circular convolution. u1 m dash n dash. That will be the expression for circular convolution in a 2D image. In a 2D image, where h m minus m complement m dash comma n minus n dash defines that here the circular shifting is happening. I think all of you know what is circular shifting in 1D cases. In 2D cases also will be the same, but it will happen over the two-dimensional space. Circular convolution of HMN defines that HM modulo of capital N comma N modulo of capital N means whatever value the M, whatever value of M and you will have, that value will always be within that mod value, will always be within the mod value of n. Means from 0 to n minus 1 the value will remain whatever the value of m and n is. Value of m and n means it's not the value, keep in mind, it's not the value of your sequence, it's the index position of your sequence. That is minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, like that. The index position of your sequence, not the value of your sequence, keep in mind. So, okay. Suppose you have suppose y3, okay, or suppose simply not y3, consider yn 1D is given as x of is given as suppose 1 2 3 4 5. Yn is given as 1 2 3 4 5, where that is your 0th position, that is your nth position, or simply n equal to 4th position, 0 1 2 3 4. That means the expression is varying from 0 to 4, means that yn from here, if you calculate, just we need some space, if you calculate y n minus 1, what will happen? Simply that will shift to the right, means 0 1 2 3 4 5, that will be your expression. That will be your expression. If we calculate yn minus 1, means it is shifting towards right by 1. But in case of circular convolution, what is happening? Whenever it is shifting towards right, it is going back to 0th position. It is going back to 0th position. Means after yn minus 1 shift, you are getting that expression in the circular convolution. Means your value is always remaining within the mod 0 to 4. Is value your value is remaining within the mod 0 to 4. That is the representation of circular convolution. whatever the shift you are considering, always you will get back to your modulus value. That I am represented here. I have represented here that HMN, if this is considering as circular convolution, the circular convolution is represented as HM modulo n, comma small n modulo of capital N. Means whatever the value of m you will get, that will remain within the modulus range. If modulus range is 0 to 4, so value of m is within 0 to 4, then it is okay. Whenever the value of m become the 5, that value comes to the 0th position. Whenever it become 5, 6, so what is happening? First 6 is coming to the 0th position, then again 5 is coming to the 0th position, so shift is shifting to the first position. So in that way, total circular processing is happening. Okay, so that is your circular convolution. Means whatever the operation or whatever the shifting is happening here, always the value of m will be within the range 0 to 4. Means within the range of 0 to n minus 1, within that modulus range. And the value of small n also will be the same. So that is the operation of circular convolution. So that operation is happening here for that expression. That operation is happening here for that circular convolution expression. Clear? Acha. If you want to represent it in picture format or pictorially, if you want to understand whatever I am saying, then that axis define the m axis, that axis define the n axis, and that box defined your u1 mn. So obviously the value of m is n minus 1, and that is n minus 1. Start from 0, 0. As I have told you, mn of size n cross n. Okay, so that is your first image, and your second image is, suppose this is your second image called HMN. Sorry, the size of HMN is m cross m, so it will be m minus 1 to m minus 1. As I have told you, HMN is the smaller size, so HMN will be within u1 mn. So what you have to do? You have to do the circular convolution between these two images, HMN and u1 mn, and you have to show what is actually happening. So pictorially, what is happening? First, that expression, try to understand this clearly. First, that expression, we are trying to calculate h m dash n dash. First, as you can see, our equation was u2 mn equal to summation of m dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, n dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, h of m minus m dash n minus n dash u1 m dash n dash. That was our expression. From that expression, first we are trying to represent that matrix h m minus m dash n minus n dash. So to represent that, first we are calculating minus. First we are calculating the minus m dash n dash. First we are calculating m dash and n dash, not minus. If we represent h m dash n dash, so obviously what will happen? That axis will represent m dash axis, that axis will represent n dash axis, and it will remain first, it will remain the same structure. Whatever the position is, it will remain first the same structure. M minus 1, m minus 1, and that is your n minus 1, n minus 1. We are representing mn by m dash n dash axis, as we are varying m dash and n dash, not the mn. So we are varying m dash and n dash, so we are representing m dash and n dash in spite of m and n. So you have the same structure. Simply mn becomes the m dash n dash. Now from here, if we represent h minus m dash minus n dash, what the structure you will get? Minus m dash minus n dash means simply that portion will come here, that portion will come here, mirror image you will get. So if we calculate, if we draw the mirror image, you will get that. So that will be your h minus m dash minus n dash. Okay, now you have the expression, h of m minus m dash n minus n dash. Simply I am trying to calculate that expression, not the circular convolution. Simply I am trying to calculate that expression. So from h of minus m dash minus n dash, if we try to calculate h m minus m dash comma n minus n dash, means what? You have to map that h m dash minus n dash expression or structure to the point mn. If we consider mn a single point, not the total point, suppose 0 0. So what you have to do? You have to map that h minus m dash minus n dash to the point 0 0. So what you will do to calculate, if we want to calculate h m dash n dash, you will get the structure like that. That is your m dash, that is your n dash. So mapping will happen and you will get a structure something like that. Suppose you may get structure something different also. Just I am trying to make you understand. So just I am considering that if we map that h minus m dash n dash to the point 0 0, you will get structure like that. Okay. Now what we are trying to do, you have to do the circular convolution, means the range defined from 0 to n minus 1. So whatever the value of h only exists for 0 to n minus 1. Outside that range, the value of h will be 0. So what you have to do, whatever the part, whatever the part you have in the outside of the 0 to n minus 1 means simply in the outside of that u1 m dash n dash, outside of u1 m dash n dash, you have to make it inside. So what will happen here? Simply folding, as already I have told you, 1 2 3 4 you have the expression. After one shift you are getting 5, so 5 will come to the first position. So the folding is happening. The same thing will happen here, means that part will be folded to here, that part will be folded to here, and this part will folded to diagonally here. So finally that will be your structure for circular convolution considering a single point. Keep in mind, considering a single point, not the all points. That will be your structure considering a single point after circular convolution. Clear up to that? ওকে, আমরা জিরোতে প্লট করছি না, আমরা যখন জিরোতে প্লট করব তখন জিরো রেসপেক্টে যেটা আসে সেটা আসবে। আমরা প্লট করছি m and n এ। I am not considering m and n as 0 0. I am just giving you an example. M and n will be any value through over the image. So I am just to make you understand, যদি এরকম স্ট্রাকচারটা আসে h of minus m dash minus n dash, and if we shift mn and if we get a structure like that, if we get a structure like that, then you have to do the folding operation like that. Okay, after shifting যদি তুই টোটালটাই within the range পাস তাহলে তোর ফোল্ডিং এর কোনো প্রয়োজনই পড়ছে না। যদি 0 0 এর ক্ষেত্রে তুই যদি করিস তাহলে it will remain the same, so you have to do the total folding. You have to do the total folding. For this case 0 for 0 0 it will remain minus m dash minus n dash, so it will remain that structure. So for that structure you have to do the total folding. Now foldings principle হচ্ছে, okay, the shifting is happening in the, you can understand that if we consider that part is in the x-axis and y-axis. Okay, x-axis y-axis. So simply x-axis এ shifting হবে x-axis এ, x-axis এ shifting হবে x-axis এ, so that part will come here. y-axis shifting হবে y-axis. Similarly তুই যদি এই পার্টটা কনসিডার করিস, so that x-axis shifting হবে, that y-axis shifting হবে towards that, because আমরা y-axis কনসিডার করছি। so এখানে similarly that x-axis shifting হবে with respect to that y-axis এখানে। similarly that position defines কত x, that position defines x, so within that here x you will define, and that position defines diagonal, so that diagonal y you have to consider, so that shifting will be diagonally. Okay, that I am giving you that a simple example, that is for a single point M and N. That point may be any point over the image. And if you get that type of structure, so shifting will happen like that. Now if we get something different structure, so shifting will happen with respect to that. I just want to make you understand that operation is happening in that way in circular convolution process. So is that clear? Okay, because for each and every point you will not be able to draw the diagram now, because 1 minus 1 by 0 to n minus 1 number of pixels means so many pixels. You don't know for which pixel which structure you are getting. That will be decided by the computer. Okay, now so simply you can say that you have to do what for circular convolution. You have to draw the h m dash n dash, then you have to shift h minus m dash n dash, then again you have to map h m minus m dash n minus n dash. For a single point, total 3 operation is happening. So for the total point, so many operations will be there if we consider the circular convolution. But if we consider DFT in spite of the circular convolution to get the convolution result, what will happen? We will use DFT in spite of the circular convolution. Then what will happen? Simply h m minus m dash n minus n dash. That expression you have, if we do the DFT of that expression, what you will get? Just check it first. না, ডিএফটির সময় তুই জিরো প্যাডিং, তুই তো একটা সিঙ্গেল ভ্যালুতে ডিএফটি করছিস, তাই না? তুই সার্কুলার কনভলিউশনে তো জিরো প্যাডিং এর প্রয়োজন পড়ছে, কিন্তু ডিএফটির সময় তুই একটা সিঙ্গেল ভ্যালুর উপর করছিস, তাহলে তোকে জিরো প্যাডিং এর কথা তো চিন্তা করতে হচ্ছে না। Whenever you are considering the circular convolution from the range, না আগে করেছিলিস কি, তোরা যখন সার্কুলার কনভলিউশন করেছিলিস, সার্কুলার কনভলিউশনের ফর্মুলা ইউজ করে তুই ক্যালকুলেট করেছিলিস, তো সেই ফর্মুলায় কি করেছিলিস, এইচটাকে ডিফাইন করেছিস অ্যাজ এ সেম স্ট্রাকচার অফ ইউ। এখানের এক্সাম্পল আমি বলছি, এইচ দেওয়া আছে রেঞ্জ এম, ইউ দেওয়া আছে রেঞ্জ এন। সো 0 to m h ভ্যালু, 0 to m minus 1 তুই h ভ্যালু পেয়েছিস, বাকি m minus 1 to n minus 1 বাকি যে ভ্যালু সেটাকে তুই জিরো কনসিডার করছিস বাই জিরো প্যাডিং সার্কুলার কনভলিউশনের ক্ষেত্রে। কিন্তু তুই যখন ডিএফটি কনসিডার করছিস তখন তোকে জিরো প্যাডিং কনসিডার করতে হচ্ছে না, বিকজ ইন ডিএফটি অলরেডি ইউ আর কনসিডারিং দ্য রেঞ্জ m equal to 0 to n minus 1 as well as n equal to 0 to n minus 1. Just check the equation, it will be clear. যদি আমি ডিএফটি করি, এটার এক্সপ্রেশন কি হবে, m equal to 0 to n minus 1 and n equal to 0 to n minus 1. Already I am considering m equal to 0 to n minus 1 as well as n equal to 0 to n minus 1. Okay, তো সেপারেটলি এখানে জিরো প্যাডিং এর কোনো প্রয়োজনই নেই। সো h m minus m dash n minus n dash. W n, the expression is mk plus nl. So if we do the DFT of h m minus m dash and n minus n dash, that will be your first expression. In that expression, you all know that m and n are in the spatial domain and k and l are in the frequency domain. So that expression is not the from that expression you cannot directly write any DFT format. The DFT format expression was like that: summation u mn wn of k m plus ln. Okay, u mn, and that was k m ln. Then that was your DFT expression VKL that you have got. But here you have h m minus m dash n minus n dash, that is not related to that two expression. So to calculate the DFT from here, simply km you have to make m minus m dash into k, and nl you have to make n minus n dash into l, to put the overall expression in that format. So what we are doing, m equal to 0 to n minus 1, n equal to 0 to n minus 1, h m minus m dash n minus n dash, w of n m minus m dash k plus n minus n dash l. So if we can write the expression like that, that means from here you can write simply that this is the DFT expression. So obviously you have written something extra term. That extra term is what? Wn to the power minus m dash k minus n dash l. So obviously if we write m dash k plus n dash l, so that expression will give you the previous expression. Okay. Now clear up to that? Up to that, simply okay. So now what we are doing, Wn m dash k and n dash l is not dependent on mn, so I am writing it in the outside. So Wn of m dash k plus n dash l double summation of m equal to 0 to n minus 1, n equal to 0 to n minus 1, h of m minus m dash n minus n dash, Wn of m minus m dash k plus n minus n dash l. Okay, that you have got. So after that, what we are doing, simply we are considering m minus m dash equal to I and n minus n dash equal to j. So expression will be Wn m dash k plus n dash l summation I equal to m equal to 0 So I equal to minus m dash to n minus 1 minus m dash. Similarly, j equal to minus n dash to n minus 1 minus n dash. H of I comma j w n of I k plus j l. So simply this is the mathematical step. Now here I equal to minus m dash, j equal to minus n dash. So that must be I equal to 0 to n minus 1 as well as j equal to 0 to n minus 1. Then only we can write that it is the DFT of Hij. So can we write I equal to 0 to n minus 1 here? Yes, we can, because keep in mind that is a circular convolution operation. So whatever the value of I and j or m minus m dash or n minus n dash, you are getting that value will be always within the range of 0 to n minus 1. If it is in the outside of the range, circular convolution process will make it in the inside of the range. So for circular convolution process, I equal to minus m dash to n minus 1 minus m dash, simply one shifting will be happen and minus m dash will be within the range 0 to n minus 1. So always for circular convolution you can write it as minus m dash equal to I equal to 0 to n minus 1 as well as j equal to 0 to n minus 1. Okay, so that expression written here is the DFT of Hij, or if we represent Ij by Mn, then it is a DFT of Hmn. So what we can write? We can write Wn to the power m dash k plus n dash l into DFT of Hmn. Okay, means if we calculate the DFT of the circular convolution expression, you are getting the DFT of the original expression Hmn multiplied by Wn to the power m dash k plus n dash l, means m dash and n dash values and how many circular shifting is happening, that decides. So clear up to that? That is the simple expression. That is simply no. See, I, J, M, N both are simply variables. It's not any constant part like that. Ki ami I mane ami I use korbo, J mane J use korbo. If I consider I equal to, if I represent I by M, not considering if I represent I by N or if I represent I by P, whatever we can do. As I am calculating H, M, N as the input image, So we are considering in spite of ij mn. You can write DFT of hij also, and you can write DFT of mn also. That is simply the name to match it, nothing else. Simply if we write here, okay. So up to that clear. Then just keep in mind that term DFT of h m minus m dash n minus n dash defined by this expression. Keep in mind that term. Now in the main expression, if we replace the term, main expression was what? u2 of mn m dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, n dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, h m minus m dash n minus n dash u1 of m dash n dash. If we replace that term by considering as DFT of u2 m comma n, simply we are calculating the DFT of u2 m comma n. So here we will do the DFT with respect to m and n. So only DFT will happen over here because this is m dash and n dash. It is not dependent on mn. So here DFT will not happen. DFT only happen over the h m minus m dash and n minus n dash. So what we can write? Summation of m dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, summation of n dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, u1 m dash n dash, and the remaining part will be the DFT, that is DFT of h m minus m dash n minus n dash, and DFT of that term we know this expression. So simply we will represent DFT of h m minus m dash n minus n dash by wn m dash k plus n dash l into DFT of h mn. Okay. So h n of m dash k n dash l sorry, just consider DFT of h mn. It is not dependent on m dash and n dash. Summation is your from m dash 0 to n minus 1 and n dash 0 to n minus 1. So DFT of h mn is not dependent. So DFT of h mn I am writing in the outside of the summation, and then I am writing the summation part. M dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, n dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, u1 m dash n dash w n of m dash k plus n dash l. What does the expression means? What does that expression means? Summation m dash equal to 0 to n minus 1, n dash equal. That means simply the DFT, that is the DFT expression. DFT of U1 M dash N dash. So first was DFT of HMN, and the second expression multiplied, second expression is DFT of U1 M dash N dash. DFT of U1 M dash N dash, or you can write it also MN. Okay, so DFT of HMN, DFT of U1 MN. That is the result if we do the DFT of U2 MN. Means what? Means that convolution in the spatial domain, convolution in domain is equal to multiplication in frequency domain. Means in the expression U2 of Mn, you have written the convolution expression in the spatial domain. Mn is the spatial domain, but whenever you are calculating the DFT of U2 Mn, you are getting the multiplication. DFT of HMN means that is in the frequency domain. DFT of U1 Mn means that is also the frequency domain. Means convolution in spatial domain, you are getting the multiplication of frequency domain. Means what? In spite of doing the convolution in spatial domain, if we do the multiplication of frequency domain, that is easier part, because you have the structure. Only what you have to do, simply you have to put the values of the HMN and U1MN in the frequency in the structure, FFT structure, and you will get your frequency domain expression, and simply multiply that to expression. What you will get? You will get the DFT of U2MN, and then in the same type of structure, simply represent the inverse DFT of U2MN. You will get your U2MN. You will get your U2MN. So that process will be the fastest process for the computer. Keep in mind that process will be the fastest process for the computer, in spite of doing the convolution in free spatial domain.